So today we'll be studying the interior of the ventricles, both right ventricle and the left ventricle. See, this is how the heart is located. You have to hold it in the anatomical position. So identify this part. This part is auricle. So right auricle. So this chamber will be right atrium. Location of the right ventricle. It is located forwards and to the left. It is located in front and to the left of the right atrium. This forms the 2/3 of the sternocostal surface, 1/3 of the diaphragmatic surface that rests on the diaphragm, and it contributes for the formation of the right border of the heart. So when we cut open the right ventricle, and you can see here, this is how the right ventricle chamber looks like. Okay, see here. There is one interventricular septum. So you can see this is the interventricular septum that separates internally the left ventricles and the right ventricles. See the board. Here you can see this is the interior of the ventricles, right ventricle and left ventricle. There is a septum called as interventricular septum. Inter means between the two ventricles. So this green color is representing the interventricular septum. So this septum is not straight. It is rather, it is showing a convexity towards the right ventricle. That's why the shape of the interior of the right ventricle is semilunar, whereas the shape of the left ventricle interior is somewhat oval or rounded. So you remember, the interior of right ventricle is semilunar in appearance. That's because the interventricular septum, which shows a convexity towards the interior of right ventricle. Now let's see the features what we see in the interior of the ventricles. So in this specimen, you can see there is an orifice here. See, this is the right atrium what we are seeing. So from the right atrium, if you see, there is one large rounded orifice. See properly. So this orifice is called as atrioventricular orifice. See the orifice properly. This is the atrioventricular orifice, and the blood from the right atrium, it enters into the right ventricle by means of this orifice. So this is one of the feature of the interior of right ventricle. Now this orifice, I think is not there in this picture specimen. 1 minute. Yeah. In this orifice has got a complex called as tricuspid valve complex. To the orifice is attached tricuspid valve complex. So if you see here, you can see a band of collagenous band here, collagenous ring. So this band of collagenous ring is called as tricuspid annulus. Okay, this is called as annulus. Annulus means a ring that is surrounding the orifice. So here you can, if you see this specimen again, yeah, see the specimen again. See, you can identify the annulus here. See, it's a band of collagenous fibers. So see here, this is the band of collagenous fibers that is attached to the tricuspid orifice. So tricuspid valve complex, one of the complex is tricuspid annulus. Annulus means a ring that is surrounding the orifice. So to this ring, there are cusps attached. See, this cusp what you are seeing is called as, it's also called as leaflet. Tricuspid cusps. So tri means 3. So similarly, there are 3 cusps. So identify in this specimen again, there are 3 cusps. The largest one, this is the anterior cusp, this will be the posterior cusp, and there is a septal cusp. In case of tricuspid valve complex, there are 3 cusps. See here, I think from here you can see clearly. See here, these are the cusps. Cusps or the leaflets. Okay, so tricuspid means 3, right? So there is an anterior cusp, behind is the posterior cusp, and towards the ventricular septum there is a septal cusp. Out of these three cusps, the anterior cusp is the largest, the septal cusp is the smallest one. When you see the interior of the right ventricle, it is divided into two parts. The inflowing part, here you can see this forms the inflowing part. See, all these, these are forming the inflowing part of the right ventricle. There is an outflowing part. So this smooth part what you see is the outgoing part. That means incoming part is rough, the outgoing part is smooth. So why this incoming part should be rough? See, you can imagine the right atrium is pumping the blood with so much of pressure. So when it pumps the blood with so much of pressure, the blood will flow with a high velocity. So you can imagine a smooth road and there is a hump. So what is the importance of the hump? It reduces the velocity of the vehicles. Similarly, the inflowing part is rough because it is reducing the velocity of the blood from which it is entering into the right ventricle. Outflowing part is smooth, and outflowing part it opens into the pulmonary vein. See here, this is the pulmonary trunk. Where my finger is, it is representing the pulmonary trunk. So the blood from the right ventricle is pumped to the pulmonary trunk. Let's see what are the features of the inflowing rough part. So this inflowing rough part has got important features like called as ridges, bridges and papillary muscles. So these features are called as trabeculae carneae. Let's see the features. What do you mean by ridge? What is a bridge? So ridge means elongated elevations. So here can you make out this? These are all the elongated elevations that are present in the interior. So one of the ridge is very prominent. See here, this elevation is very prominent. So this is called as, this elevation what you can see here, it's called as septomarginal trabeculae. See here, this ridge which is very prominent is called as septomarginal trabeculae. Okay, so this is the one that is separating the rough part from that of the smooth part. Okay, so you can see this rough part is separated from the smooth part by this ridge. Sorry, it's not septomarginal trabeculae, it's called a supraventricular crest. Please note the change. This is septomarginal trabeculae, this is a bridge. Okay, this is called as supraventricular crest. Sorry for the mistake. So inflowing part is separated from the outflowing part by means of this particular ridge. This is called as supraventricular crest. Okay, next coming to the bridge. So bridge is a part, like how in the regular English, you know what is the meaning of a bridge? Means it is connecting the two particular junctions. Here you can make out this is a bridge, one of the prominent bridge. Means it is connecting the two parts. In the middle it is free. So one of the prominent bridge what we can see here, this is called as, this is otherwise called as moderator band. This is called as septomarginal trabeculae. Okay, this is a bridge. It's a prominent example what you can see here. So what are the two parts this moderator band is connecting? You can see here, this is the supraventricular crest. This is the papillary muscle. This triangular shaped muscle is papillary muscle. So this particular bridge is connecting the supraventricular crest with that of the base of the anterior papillary muscle. So this is called as septomarginal trabeculae, otherwise called as a moderator band. So this is an example for a bridge. Next, coming to one more importance of trabeculae carneae, that is papillary muscles. So can you see here pyramidal shaped structure? This is the papillary muscle. So papillary muscle in the case of the right ventricle, it is 2 in number. So one more is present here. This is one more papillary muscle that is seen. This is anterior papillary muscle. Similarly, this muscle that is present behind is called as posterior papillary muscle. Now you can see the base of the anterior papillary muscle is connected to the supraventricular crest by means of trabeculae carneae. The apical portion of the papillary muscle is connected to the cusp. See the cusp here? It is connected to the cusp by means of the thread-like structures. See the thread-like structure here? So this thread-like structure is called as chordae tendineae. Okay, remember these thread-like structures that are connecting the apical portion of the papillary muscle to that of the leaflet or the cusp is called as chordae tendineae. This is chordae tendineae. So what is the importance when the papillary muscle is contracting? These threads are contracted because of which the atrioventricular orifice is open. The cusp is also open. So you can imagine that, right? So this is chordae tendineae. Next, coming to the outflowing part. Outflowing part is smooth. The rough part and the smooth part, it is separated from each other by supraventricular crest, which is an example for a ridge. So see the musculature of the right ventricle. The musculature of right and left ventricle is 1:3. That means the left ventricle musculature is about 3 times more thicker than the right ventricle. So quickly see the parts once again. This is the this collagenous band is called as annulus. These are the cusps. There are 3 in number, that's why it is called as 3. The one what you are seeing here is the largest cusp, it's the anterior cusp. Similarly, there is septal cusp. This is the septal cusp, which is smallest. Ridges, bridges and papillary muscles. So these are all the ridges that are elevations. One of the prominent ridge is supraventricular crest. This is a bridge that is connecting the 2 particular regions and remains free in middle. So this is the moderator band. Papillary muscles in case of right ventricle is 2 in number. This is anterior papillary muscle. Behind is the posterior papillary muscle. These are the thread-like structures called as chordae tendineae that is attached to the cusp. Then coming to the interior of the left ventricle. Left ventricle, it is situated, it forms about 1/3 of the sternocostal surface. It forms the majority of the diaphragmatic surface of the heart and contributes for the left border of the heart. So when I am cutting open this, and you can see the features are almost same as that of the right ventricle, but compare the musculature here. See the musculature of the left ventricle. It is 1:3 times thicker than that of the right ventricle. So why this musculature should be this thick? It's because the left ventricle has to forcefully eject the blood. The force should be such a way that it has to enter the it has to enter the ascending aorta, so that the blood is circulated in the further arteries, large arteries. Okay, next coming to the features. Similar like how we have seen the interior of the right ventricle, left ventricle, the interior is showing the roughness. So there is presence of ridge, there is presence of bridge, and there are papillary muscles. So but the papillary muscles in case of left ventricles, there are so many. So identify the ridges. There are no particular names for this. So these are the ridges that are connecting the ventricular walls. Coming to the bridges. So bridge, so you can see one of the bridges is this. No particular name for that. See these conical structures, what you see is papillary muscles. So papillary muscles are numerous in number. So this is the inflowing part. There is an outflowing part. See, this is the outflowing part. Can you see this one? This is the outflowing part. So outflowing part is smooth, inflowing part is rough. The valve that is present is called as mitral valve between the left ventricle and the left atrium. The valve that is present is called as the mitral valve. Let me see if it is there in this specimen. Again you can see the features here. Identify the papillary thickness, identify the ridges, bridges and the papillary muscles. See here, these are the papillary muscles. These are the chordae tendineae. So you can see the chordate tendineae here. So this valve is called as mitral valve, otherwise called as bicuspid valve. Bicusps means there are only two cusps. So similarly how we have seen the three cusps in the right ventricle, here there are two cusps, and the two cusps are anterior cusp and the posterior cusp. So that's all from the interior of the right and the left ventricles. Thank you.